When I married Anna, I thought I had found the woman I would spend my entire life with. We had been together for 8 years, married for 5, and while life had settled into a routine, I thought that was just part of a long-term relationship. We both had jobs, a small circle of friends, and evenings that often ended with us watching TV or cooking dinner together. It wasn't thrilling every day, but it was comfortable, or so I believed. It started with little things. Anna began dressing up more, even when she was just going to the store. She'd stay glued to her phone, smiling at messages she never shared with me. I tried not to be suspicious. I told myself she deserved her privacy and that maybe she was just chatting with her friends from work. But deep down, I knew something had changed. One night, she came home late. I asked where she'd been, and she casually replied, "Out with friends." When I pressed for details, her smile tightened, and she changed the subject. That's when I decided to check our shared laptop. I didn't want to be that kind of husband, but my gut told me the truth was hiding there. What I found made my stomach twist. There were messages to another man, full of flirtation and plans to meet. Pictures, too, intimate ones. I confronted her the next morning, my hands shaking. I expected tears, apologies, maybe excuses. But what I got was worse than I could have imagined. She looked at me with this bored, almost annoyed expression and said, "You're so boring, I opened our marriage." Just like that. No remorse, no shame. She acted as if it was perfectly reasonable for her to sleep with someone else because she thought our life lacked excitement. I asked her if she'd ever thought about talking to me before making that decision. She shrugged and said, "Talking wouldn't have changed anything. I need passion, and you're safe." That word, safe, felt like a slap in the face. She didn't see me as her partner anymore, just as a stable placeholder while she chased thrills elsewhere. For a few days, I was in shock. I went to work, came home, and barely spoke to her. She carried on as if nothing had happened, going out late, dressing for someone else's attention. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I wasn't going to let her walk all over me. If she wanted excitement, I was going to give her something unforgettable, just not the way she expected. I quietly started moving my personal documents, valuable items, and savings into a separate account she didn't know about. I contacted a lawyer and explained the situation. He told me that in our state, her infidelity would work heavily in my favor during the divorce, especially since I had proof. While she was out one weekend, I had the locks changed. I packed all her belongings into boxes and left them neatly on the porch. I also printed copies of her messages and sent them to both our families. I didn't add commentary, I let her own words speak for themselves. When she came home and found the locks changed, she pounded on the door and screamed at me. I opened the window and told her she had no right to come in anymore. I handed her the divorce papers through the window, then closed it without another word. Her expression went from anger to disbelief in seconds. The fallout was brutal for her. Her parents were furious, her friends pulled away, and the man she had been seeing ghosted her completely. She tried calling me dozens of times, leaving messages about how she had made a mistake and how we could work it out. But I didn't respond. She had made it clear I wasn't enough for her, so I wasn't going to give her another chance to treat me like an option. In court, my lawyer presented the evidence. She barely got anything in the settlement because of her infidelity and because I had moved quickly to secure my assets. I kept the house, the savings, and most of what we had built together. She left with only what was already in her name. It's been a year since then. I've rebuilt my life, reconnected with friends, and even started dating again, carefully this time. I learned that comfort doesn't mean boring, and anyone who mistakes loyalty for lack of passion isn't worth keeping. Anna. Last I heard, she was bouncing between jobs and relationships, still searching for the excitement she thought would make her happy. Meanwhile, I sleep peacefully every night, knowing I took back control of my life and refused to be disrespected. If she ever thinks about me, I hope she remembers that the boring man she once underestimated ended up being the one who walked away with everything.